Okay, hello everybody. This is the third video in this series. This is just tutorials for beginners, and in this tutorial we are going over avatars and tips and tricks for them because I see people mess up a lot and they are kind of sad, when that happens. I would be too, and I want to help you make a good avatar. So let's get right into it. Alright, so first, as I covered in the first video, the avatar menu pretty much is the special blobs, the blue smiley face. So you click on that, it says avatars. I'll click on new avatar. Alright, and then this guy shows up. So it's just, your normal avatar. You will notice that there's no legs. So, you can't do walking stuff, or if, you want to add legs, you can add them, but they'll just be stiff and it'll look kind of weird. So I usually don't add legs to my avatars. Um, And then, the head is highlighted by default. You can highlight different parts. I'll show you why. And then there are hands, um, lower arms, upper arms, and the body. So that's all you have to work with, which is kind of limited. I wish there were more options, but that's all right. It's still a pretty cool way of making an avatar, and I'll show you the way around this. So first, as I talked about, it will show the avatar, and you can select different parts. So I can click on the body with my little cursor right here, and it'll highlight the body, and you'll notice that it'll also highlight the body in the avatar. And that's pretty much how you know what you're working with. Highlight the head, highlights the head again. That pretty much is the same with all the parts. Yeah. So what I see a lot is people make their whole avatar thinking that, oh, if I make my arm inside the, like, over here, the arm hologram part, then it'll just stick to the arm. Well, this game isn't smart like that, and some people make different avatars where they do not want that to be the case, so it doesn't do that automatically. What you'll have to do is click on the arm and then draw stuff on it. And so what I see a lot is when people, I'm just gonna really quickly make an avatar, yep. Alright, when people do that, and they just do it over everything, and you'll see if I save this avatar, then my arms are right here. My other arm is invisible in the camera, but whatever. And this is just the drawing tool. But you can see that it does not look good. Everything is attached to my head. When I look up or down, the body follows, and my arms aren't matching with that. So we need to fix that. So what we're gonna do is go into our inventory, switch into a different avatar. I'm gonna use an invisible avatar for building, as I always do. Go back into your inventory, and sometimes it takes a while to load the first time that you create an avatar, but then every other time it will be instant, and all the updates, like, it'll be updated instantly. You click on it, you can use it just like this, how I did it again. Switch into my other avatar. You can put it on the store, sell in person, like how you would do to a normal blob. You can watch that video if you want to know how that works, or you can click update. Now, a lot of people think that you can't update it after you make it the first time, and so they're confused why my avatar looks so good. They're like, how did you make one in like one sitting? But no, that's not how that works. So thankfully, you can still keep updating your avatar. It is super useful, and you're not restricted to, say, 1 or 2 hours of making an avatar, which is really nice. And so if I wanted this to fit my actual avatar and make it move with my arms, then this is what I'll do. So when you blobify stuff, then whatever is highlighted, like the head, if I blobified something right now, then the part would be sealed to the head. So what I'm gonna do is, you don't have to redraw all the other parts, and only keep the head. What I can do is select the body, and I can I can just blobify it to the body, or unblobify it and then blobify it to the body. And so now it's blobified to the body. So everything else will stick to the head, but this will stick to the body because, yeah, that's what I use it on. and then select this arm, blobify it to it, select this arm, blobify it to that arm, select the hand, blobify it to the hand. I'll do the same process on the other arm. Alright, and just like that, it's fixed. Now it seems really simple, and that's because it is. So if I go into my inventory, use my avatar, then you can see the updates are instant, and it's not the best. Obviously, I didn't put a lot of effort into this, but you can see at least it moves with each part. The hands move with the hands. Yep, they all move together, and when I look around, nothing moves with my head, and the body just rocks back and forth, not up and down. So that's great. That means we did a good job. And now I'll show you other things that you can use for an avatar or other techniques, anything like that. Again, we're going to update it. Blobifying a lot of parts is annoying, and so this is what you can do. I'm going to select the body and draw a bunch of random blocks. So say, this is a highly detailed avatar. We'll just say that. And when you need to blobify something to the body, or if it's all stuck to the hand, like I said, then you need to unblobify and reblobify the body. And, that's kind of annoying. If you have to do all this, and if it was way more, this is fine, but if it's way more complicated, then it gets really annoying to have to reblobify the whole thing, and sometimes you miss parts and all that stuff. And so this is how you fix that. So you can see I just unblobified it, and it's all unblobified. Each of them are separate. You take your drawing hand, hover over it. I don't think you need the blobify tool, but I always pull out the blobify tool just in case. And then hold it over any part of your body, and then press down on the joystick. And that will instantly blobify everything back together. What I'll just use it on is unblobifying and then reblobifying to change the location in the body. And that's pretty much it. It's super simple to revive an avatar like that. And next, I'm going to show you about the mouths. So these are super useful. And if I switch into my Yeep avatar, come on. Look, this looks, in my opinion, very good. And I realize I have to fix the mouth, but whatever. It is all because it's using the beak. So remember, if you're using a 3D mouth, it's like this. If you're using a beak, it's like hinging, like how I'm doing it. So if you're making a repo avatar, probably use the beak, or a Yeep avatar, use the beak. If you're making just, other things, you might want to use a 3D mouth or just no mouth. That's fine. Just remember to pick which mouth you want for your avatar that fits the avatar. So I'm going to pull this in a little closer. Alright. It's my invisible avatar again, so I'm not in the way. And if you go into this menu and click on mouth right here, next or across from save, and click on mouth, then you can see a 3D mouth appears on the avatar, these two lips. A beak then appears on the avatar, or off. So you can turn the default face off, which is super good for tiny avatars that are only the body or the head, and you don't want these default eyes appearing in your avatar. For me, it's fine because they're covered either by the headset or the head on most of them. But, I like to do at least some kind of mouth, not the default one. I don't like the default mouth, but some people do. So, on the 3D mouth, this is pretty basic. You still have to select it like normal parts, so you still have to highlight the part. So I'm gonna highlight the top lip. Please don't do this. This is just for an example. If you do this, then it'll make it look boring and default. So I see a lot of people, they just do both the lips and, they just, yeah, it's pretty basic. But make your avatar unique. Always remember that. So I'm just gonna select the bottom one now. Do the same lip, whatever. Save. Select my avatar. Obviously, it's still not a pretty avatar. It's terrible, but, that's the 3D mouth. Delete these so they don't come back to haunt me later. And switch it to beak. same thing applies. I don't think I have to teach that again, but just put the things on it and it opens differently. Anyways, I'm gonna switch back to 3D Mouth because another thing you can do is right here. It says move part, and this is super useful for making cool things like and talking animations for my headset and stuff like that. So I'll click move part, and you can see I can grab this like a normal blob, and it is kind of weird. But what I'm gonna do actually is rotate it in such a way so it is to the side of the head. Yep, like that. And you can unselect move part. Alright, there we go. So now you can't move it anymore. But anyways, I'm just gonna draw a little example of some things that people like to do. So a lot of people like to have this, and then they put like a mic icon or whatever, and then it's like, nope. So it's like they're muted. It looks like a muted mic icon. Obviously, this isn't great, but again, I blobify all my stuff. And then I'm gonna go to the back of the mouth. You can't see it because it's covered. But I'm gonna make another icon. That's too big. Another icon that is talking. So I'll just do like a check mark. But this is basic. I don't like doing this just because it's very popular, but it does look good. But yeah, just make your stuff unique. Make it how you want to make it. Don't take any of my stuff personally. Alright, there we go. I think that looks good and hidden by the first one. And I'll just save this avatar. Okay, and then if I open it, I did that backwards. 1 sec. Okay, I did mess up, but I got it working at the end, hopefully. And you can see, there you go. As I'm talking, the talking animation is showing that I'm talking right here, or when I'm not talking, and you can do some pretty cool things with this. For example, as you saw in the intro, this is essentially the same concept, except it's just reviewing these outlines when I'm talking, and it's pretty cool. So I hope that this helped you. This will be the end of this video. If I'm missing anything, please remind me, and like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and goodbye.